If
Previously
you could
on.
only have one bait, just one, what would be the bait you choose? So, welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk. This is going to be episode 3. And I have Henry Vine Fishing back again,
Hey,
which is
thank
really
you.
cool. We're going to continue our discussion from last time. I don't know if he wants to continue to debate about it. If not, I'm going to move on with another question.
So you're talking about like our lore?
Yeah, the only one bait you could have, let's say.
I'm sticking with my spoon, man.
You're sticking with a spoon, okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's say if you're in an island, right, and you're stuck, and they only have one bait, you'll take the spoon.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm thinking more survival mode.
Yeah.
So I'm used to fishing like in Letsuk or in all those places up north.
Yeah.
And a northern pike and spoon. If you're fishing on a lake where there's northern pike, he's
Yeah.
taking the spoon.
Yeah, but
so I
there's
want
no
to eat.
pike, let's say.
Okay, so what species is in the lake?
Yeah, but this is survival mode
yeah.
in the world, though. Like,
Yeah, no. I'm talking, let's say, up north in the
okay,
Canada.
so only up north in
No,
Canada.
USA it could be.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. What if there is no pike? What do you do?
Well, I need to know.
I need to know.
No, I need to know which species we're talking about. Now I
Okay.
don't know which species.
Yeah, we
I
don't
still
know
go
the
with the
spe-
spoon. You know why?
Okay.
When I went to Costa Rica,
Yeah.
I was shore fishing and I was using a white spoon
Okay.
and I caught a common snook.
Nice.
You know?
So you'll choose a spoon, but what color then? Are you gonna stick
Oh,
with the red and white?
Yeah, red
still?
and white. Red and white.
Even though in the world, I mean.
Yeah, anywhere in the world. Like I said, Costa Rica, red and white.
Okay.
I caught a common snook, and let's say there's a barracuda.
Yeah.
He's there. He's gonna come. They like those shiny things,
Yeah,
eh?
for sure,
Because
for
it's
sure.
red and white, but on the other side it's silver.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna get the sunlight. And now, if we're talking about Costa Rica, it's almost always sunny over there.
Like I would say that the real advantage of the spoon, as he said, is more indestructible.
Yeah, it'll last.
It will last, but I don't think you could catch every fish. So you'll miss out if really is hard to, like, let's say in a place where it's only small fish, then you're gonna
If
what,
you have a
snag
spoon,
them?
if you have a spoon, that means you have fishing line.
yeah.
So you could do a setup like you saw in my trout video,
Yeah.
where I was catching little trout like this.
So what, you're gonna remove the hook from
Yeah,
and
exactly.
tie it? Okay.
You remove the hook. You put a 12-foot leader.
Okay.
12 inches leader.
Yeah.
Put the hook. You find some bait. You put a worm. You dug up a worm. You put
You
a
dug
worm.
up a worm.
And there we go. You let
That's
that
two
spoon-
baits now.
There we go. No, well, hey,
I'm
you
just
gotta
kidding, I'm
you
just
gotta use
kidding.
nature to your advantage.
I'm just kidding. But like me, like I said, I'm gonna stick with the paddle tail just because of the versatility. Because I could fish the paddle tail on surface if I have to, and bottom obviously, yeah, it does snag, but most of the time, you could catch bottom fish. You could catch like any fish, honestly, on a paddle tail, right?
Yeah,
like
you're
that,
right.
I mean, that's why I was gonna say like 4 inch, 3 inch, maybe three. Like if I have to be specific, right? I'll choose something like the color to be more natural, like a minnow color, like a ghost minnow. That would be my color, and around 3 inches. And if I know, like, let's say all day I don't catch, let's say, I'm just gonna downsize it, like cut it into
Yeah.
a 2 inch, and
You'll eventually get
I'll
something.
get
a
some
crappie.
perch, crappie, like if it's to eat, right? Like, I mean, if you're in survival mode, anyways, but the moment you catch that one fish, my bait might break, which is where the disadvantage will be versus the spoon.
Well, if you're in survival mode, you use that fish as bait.
Yeah, obviously, if you catch that first one, then you have meat
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
And like I still agree with your choice though. It's definitely a good choice.
no, I'm gonna let other fishermen debate on the comments too, which will be will be cool to see.
I'll be honest though, I don't know many people who fish the spoon.
No, I don't.
I
know.
don't see many people fish the spoon, and I'm actually surprised I do so good with a spoon.
I really want to start fishing with the spoon. I have done it. I was never good at it. Never caught many fish on it, so lost confidence.
I
on it
caught
real
a
fast.
quillback with a spoon.
On the mouth.
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah.
That's
I was
crazy.
surprised. I was like, "What is that?"
A quill back. Yeah.
On the orange and gold.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know. Like I use spoon, but like not for normal like fishing or anything. Anyway, so I was gonna start another kind of debate here and say like if you could only know one thing, okay, between like it's about your PB, okay, this is about your PB. Let's say PB bass, okay, you could only have one choice to know that this bait is the bait you'll get your PB on, or the place you'll get your PB on, you know. So like they both have advantages, obviously, but go ahead.
So what you're saying is I would know the place, but I wouldn't know which lure to catch it on.
Exactly.
But I'd probably figure out which lure to catch it on. So I think I'd choose the place.
A lot of people, I think this is when most likely the place will take the top spot in choosing. But the thing is like a lot of us fishermen we use like maybe thousands of baits, right? If someone told you exactly which bait, you wouldn't be wasting money, like like
Yeah, I agree.
you're gonna buy like thousands of bait and not know what to do, right? If someone told you this is the bait that you
Yeah.
catch a PB on, all you have to do
It's fish.
is have that tied on and just fish everywhere until you get it. So here, that's the
Yeah.
Anyways,
I kind of agree. I see what your point is there. So
'Cause,
I
like-
get the bait. I just know I gotta find the fish now.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you have that tie on. You don't even have to do anything else. Like every day, you just have to go out with the same. Because let's say me right now, I go fish. I always have to think like, oh, today is there bass? Is there walleye? Am I tying my Bugsy? Am I tying my?
It's mostly Bugsy.
Mostly
Yeah.
Bugsy for me.
So you know the bait.
No, but I do Bugsy, but my PB is not caught on the Bugsy. You get it?
Yeah.
So or just on that I'm wrong because let's say I throw Bugsy every day, I'll never catch my PB.
But you'll catch fish. So like
I'll catch
you're doing a
fish.
choice. You want to make sure.
Exactly, but my PB was caught on on the lipless crankbait.
And you're
right?
talking about bass.
Bass, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So on a lipless crankbait. So if imagine I don't throw a lipless crankbait,
Yeah.
never have my PB.
Well, you see, my PB largemouth bass is on the topwater frog
Exactly.
that we see that I caught this year actually.
Well,
in one of my-
present a bit your channel. Go ahead. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
if anybody wants to check me out,
Yeah.
you could check it right here on Henry's hat.
Yeah. I'm basically promoting the channel as I go. So
Yeah.
like check out that video where he caught his PBs this year.
Yeah,
right?
it's this year. Yeah.
On the top water, which is
Yeah, most of them were caught on the Z-Man yoga pants,
Okay.
the big TRD.
okay.
I discovered a secret there that I didn't know. I just wanted to try it, and I
Yeah.
was catching some nice bass. But early in the morning, right before sunrise, there I put on that topwater frog, and he swallowed that.
Oh yeah.
It was good.
No, but top water is like what we all want.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
bass, it's like any fish on top water is like the top of any fishing.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, like that's what I want to do for striper, muskie. I mean, it's just crazy that attack.
I never got a muskie on top water.
No?
No,
Next
it was
year,
all
man.
lures,
Next year.
but pike on top water.
Next
I had it used to be a PB. It was 11-pound pike that I caught
Yeah.
in around 2017, let's say, and I was fishing with a buzz bait. You know the two
Oh, yeah,
spinners
that
there,
buzzbait.
and I was just reeling it in, and then all of a sudden that the pike he took it. And it wasn't on film. I wasn't filming at the time, but it's locked in my brain. He came, and his whole body came out of the water, man. It must have been
take
like a
it.
35, 36-inch pike, and all you see is the body waving, and then it lands. And I had to keep that pike after all
Yeah, 'cause it
because
choked.
he choked it big
Okay,
time.
okay.
The gills were like destroyed on it.
11-pound.
But hey, we had a lot of
Wow.
meat. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, let's move on and talk about I don't know any event or whatever special event that happened while you fished or something,
Special event that happened while I fished.
or memorable, let's say.
There's so many. It's really hard to choose. With all the fishing we do.
Oh yeah.
There's that pike story that I just told. That's memorable. When I caught a nice big bass with my father when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
I remember that, and my mom was catching fish, my dad was catching fish, and then I caught a big one. I don't remember at that age if it was a largemouth or a smallmouth. I just know everyone was impressed.
Oh yeah.
Good marking memory there. That's probably one of the memories that got me involved into fishing.
That's good. That's good.
But there's so many that I can't really think of one in particular that I could tell you right now. But what about you?
Oh me, I mean, I there's so many as you say. Like I caught many big fish that for me, let's say, is memorable. But at the time, you get it. And as the time pass, it always like it becomes flu. You know, like after you catch so many, you're like, okay, like it was cool, but you know. So like the things that come back to me is like it's always the first fish that I caught. Let's say like my first bass that started my, I would say, this career was like when I was 14. Like and my parents just bought me a rod. And like at the time I was like, oh yeah, like you know, I was so happy for a rod that like they got from Walmart. It was like $20. And then like I was worm fishing at the time, so I everyone was fishing and catching like bluegills, perch, whatever. I decided no, this is it. I want to be in the big leagues, you
Yeah.
know. I tied on a hook, and I put the whole worm, okay, the whole big worm like this, and I let it float out for the bobber, and the bobber went down. And I was like, wow, this thing is big. And I pulled it out. It was a 2 pound bass, but at the time I was like, wow, like you know, this is like the biggest fish. I went crazy, and it started the whole bass fishing career in me. I'm originally a bass fisherman, but because of the weather, I started to fish walleye, pike, muskie, like you know, evolve into multi
Yeah.
species. But I started off as a bass fisherman because of that one fish, like you know.
Yeah.
And then I would say the other thing would be the start of using artificial bait, because I started to use like Rapala. So my first artificial bait are hard bait, crank baits, and like jerk baits from Rapala, which is one of another brand I would like to be part of. So like everyone has Rapala, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone who fish knows what's a Rapala. So I started buying Rapala when I was really young. And me, it took me a while to catch a fish on it. But the moment I caught one, I got hooked. Like one of my first fish is probably my PB Smalley with the lipless crankbait that I'm talking about. It's a cranking crank. It's like
Yeah.
it has the bead on it, and this Smalley has to be 6 pound. Like,
Oh yeah.
and it was like on a crank on you know on an artificial for me was like it just changed my mind. Like I am like full on artificial. I rarely use this live bait.
Okay.
What other memorable like?
Well, I actually had a question for you.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Uh,
ahead.
how and why did you start using Z-Man?
I start using Z. This is funny though, cause like I use a lot of crankbait. I start using paddle tail. I was discovering like you know to jig a couple years like after I start fishing. I discovered jigging was very effective. Which to me is one of the more effective than crank and jerk to find fish. So I started using paddle tail, and then I was watching people fish and people were talking about Ned rig. It was like this is more like 4 or 5 years ago when Ned rig just started, and everyone's talking about Ned here,
Yeah.
Ned there, and I was like, I didn't even specifically choose the Bugsy. Okay, I chose the crayfish actually. I started
Okay. Yeah.
with the
The
Z-Man crayfish.
Crawzy, like?
Crawzy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I started with Crawzy because I'm like, this looks exactly like the bait, right? That
Yeah.
that they eat. So I'm like, I chose the Crawzy. I bought a pack of Crawzy, the Ned, the original, the Ned, TRD. Then like I bought a pack of the Bugsy. So I have this three, and I was throwing them like interchangeable. But then I was catching more fish on the Bugsy. And I was really lucky because the first pack of Bugsy that I bought was hot snake. Okay. And it's the color that
Yeah.
90% of my fish is caught on. So like I giving all the secret
That's the
away.
red one, right?
No, no,
Oh, no.
the hot snake is the
Hot
the
snake?
green one.
Okay, okay.
So what he's talking about, the hot
Hot
craw,
craw, then,
hot craw,
yeah.
the red one is the other one that I use when it's fall and like spring. But I actually got the hot snake as my first one. And man, I was watching them on, because the water I fish is pretty clear. So I actually see the largemouth react to it.
Yeah.
And when it's on the water, it's like basically like this, standing up.
Yeah.
Like this. So when you move, it's like this.
Then he has his little paws.
Yeah, the paws are
yeah,
always
yeah,
like
yeah.
this, always.
Yeah.
So like I saw the action, and man, I saw how the fish react to it. I'm like right away, this is my bait. Like I've been using it
Yeah.
since then, and
It imitates a lot of stuff too, like
it could be a fish,
water
it could
bug,
be it could be
or-
any bug.
Yeah.
Crayfish, definitely like this. The
Yeah.
defense mode.
Yeah.
When you pull it like this backwards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think they could resist it. Actually, it's like the candy.
Well, you
Yeah.
gave me a pack of hot craw,
I
and the other day I was fishing for muskie, and like nothing was biting, and then I decided to put on the red hot craw. I tell you, I had no bites all day. First cast on the hot craw, and now I'm looking for bass. I'm not looking for muskie anymore, and I feel this weight. I'm like, oh, I'm snagged. But then it's pulling. Oh, and then he got off.
He
but
got
I'm
off.
sure it
Yeah.
was a muskie. I'm sure I had like a 40-inch muskie.
We're not promoting Z-Man because we're
No,
not
no,
sponsored.
you're absolutely right.
not
We're just talking about it.
We're
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
sponsored,
yeah.
but please sponsor us.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyways, so I don't know. Is there anything you want to discuss more, or I have a couple of funny story maybe you
Yeah,
want to
go
talk
ahead.
about? No, actually,
Actually, yeah. You know what? I think I know which story you're talking about, and I'm gonna start it off.
you're gonna start it off.
So
okay,
what
okay.
happens is we went out for fishing together the other day in a fishing session, and we decided to leave our GoPros aside. We said if we catch a fish, we'll just like film it, do a short release for everyone who knows what shorts are. So I caught a pike, and it was a nice little pike. Had a nice pattern to it.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to do my short release with this, and Henry left a net in his car.
Yeah.
So as I'm trying to bring up my pike, we don't want we're high up fishing on a ledge.
Yeah.
We don't want the line to snap. So Henry's like, hey, I'm gonna climb down. I'm gonna go get it. So okay, man. I'm like, be careful, don't fall.
Yeah.
So he goes down. He gets my pike. He gives it to me. So I grab it. And now I got the pike in one hand, the rod in the other. And all of a sudden, as I'm looking at my pike, Henry, he just he slips. I hear the noise and I look at him, and he's hanging on those bars in the water.
No, but like, okay, I'm gonna tell it from my
Yeah.
point of view. Okay,
Yeah.
so what happened is like, actually, I don't. It's a pike, like you say, it's a pike, and pike has really sharp teeth, so you would just cut the line in 2 seconds if they're on it, right? I was looking at this pike. I'm like, the hook is out. Chances are they're not gonna cut it, but I don't want him to miss the pike, right? So I go down, like he said, I go down, I grab it, I give it to him, and the worst part is I have climbed that bar for like 15 years, honestly. Like I do that all the time, and I told him my exact words were, "This is how you do it to not fall in the water." As I climb up, the stone goes down under me, and I just slip. And I was lucky. I fall, but like one of my leg grabbed one of the metal bar.
Yeah, but it could have been worse.
It could have been
Could hurt
worse.
yourself.
Like you could see the short. If
Yeah.
you guys check my
It's
channel.
worth it. But like, I had an option. I had an option where I could have took my pike and safely released it, but I didn't do my short video. Or I could take out my phone and make another short video and film Henry.
So now we end up with 2 short
Yeah.
videos. So he got his pike and I got it.
Yeah. So I wasn't a
We
good
fu-
friend there, but I made sure before taking out the phone if you were
No,
all right.
I was fine. I was hanging on, but I was fine. It makes for a funny story, man. Like I think there's a couple more that I would like to talk about, but maybe keep it for next time. I don't know.
It's up to you.
All right, we could end here. I think. Thank you all for checking this out.
Yeah, thank you all, and if you
Don't-
haven't yet,
Subscribe to
Yeah.
him. Don't forget to check.
or
his
at least
channel.
check me out, and if you want to see
Yeah.
someone who uses the spoon,
Yeah.
it was not
Yeah.
too often. My channel, I got some nice fish caught with the spoon.
He catches a lot with the spoon. Like that's why Len Thompson chose the right guy.
Thank you.
If they chose me, it would be like, what's he doing?
Well, I gotta try to show you how to catch fish with spoon.
Yeah,
but
for sure. And I wanted to thank also Charles, who's behind the camera, like a story by Charles84. So check him out too. And Speak Up Studio again for setting us up. So, bye.
All right, see you everyone.